Good morning, everyone. Welcome to class. My name is Imokwede here, and it's a pleasure having you here again today. In continuing our series on social safeguarding, we've looked at physical abuse, emotional abuse, and sexual abuse. In this session, we'll be looking at a kind of abuse that is highly overlooked, which is neglect. We'll be looking at neglect, and we'll also be looking at the physical indicators and behavioral indicators for identifying neglect. Neglect is a failure to provide for a child's basic needs. This form of abuse is highly overlooked because people tend to want to tie it to provision or the economy or family background, which is actually not true. So you could find a child from a healthy family where the dad is working, the mom is working, they have high income, and that child can be suffering from neglect. You can also find a child with low income, low provision, but that child is not being neglected. Whether it neglects, or it also includes whether it's adequate food, the child is not eating well, there no provision for clothing, poorly dressed, the hygiene is terrible, there's no form of supervision, there's no shelter that can cater for the child's needs. So neglect usually leads to serious impairment on child development. So it affects the child in ways that even educators cannot even imagine. So children who are neglected often suffer from or are exposed to other types of abuse. So a child suffering from neglect is more likely to suffer from sexual abuse, physical abuse, and other forms of abuse. So that is why, as educators and as teachers, we must pay close attention to this neglect, which is a very important type of abuse. So these are some of the physical indicators teachers and educators should look out for in identifying neglect. Constant hunger. The child is always hungry. The child is exposed to danger, domestic injury because there's lack of supervision. The child is not properly dressed, poor hygiene, terrible hygiene, nails not cut, hair not cut. The child can be sick for a long time and nobody is paying attention in treating that child. Persistent tiredness. These are some of the physical indicators that educators should look at for and say this child is suffering from neglect. For behavioral indicators, we look like lack of peer relationship, low self-esteem, compulsive stealing and begging. Sometimes educators want to say, this is a bad character. Why are you begging? Why are you stealing? There are underlying factors, and one of such underlying factors is what? Neglect. In conclusion, it is important that educators understand the impact that neglect have on learners, which leads to other forms of abuse, and must pay special attention to neglect as a form of abuse. If you want to learn more about neglect as a type of abuse, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, reach out to us. We'll share materials with you and come for trainings. Once again, my name is Imokwede. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.